What's up, everybody? Trinity here, and welcome to the Second Street Marvel for today's comic book review. And in today's review, I'm going to be reviewing X-Men and Fantastic Four, issue number 1. This is a new series being published by Marvel Comics, obviously. Now, this is one of the new series kind of spinning out of the relaunch of the X-Men, or the reboot of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe, done by Jonathan Hickman. And this book is being written by Chip Zdarsky. Terry Dodson is the penciler. Rachel Dodson is the inker. Dexter Vines and Carl Story are the ink assistants. Laura Martin is on color art, and VC's Joe Caramagna is the letterer. Rachel and Terry Dodson do the cover art on the regular cover, and the one I have here is the Mark Brooks variant that I have here. Oh, and look at that! 2-page title page, guys. You guys know how much I love these things. I love those 2-page title pages, don't you? And go ahead and take a look at that cover there. That variant cover I've got. That's just a beautiful cover. I don't care who you are. That's just beautiful. That's just a nice cover. And of course, right here at the very beginning, we get one of those other pages. They solved the problem here, so I'm not getting white pages. They got us colored pages here now. I guess it's a we got colored pages now. We got Kate Pryde, Storm, Charles Xavier, Wolverine, Magneto, Iceman, Kid Omega, the Cuckoos, Pyro, and Bishop here for the mutants. And then, obviously, for the Fantastic Four, we've got Reed Richards, we've got Sue Storm, we've got Johnny Storm, we have got the Thing himself, Ben Grimm, and then we've got Franklin Richards and Valeria Richards there as well, involved here in this story. Now, guys, this story is something I think we all kind of saw that was going to be coming in the first place. Here in the very beginning, these first couple pages, we get a little bit of introduction to who Franklin Richards is. If you don't know who he is, you're not a big reader of the Fantastic Four or anything. That's me. I don't really know much about the Fantastic Four. I mean, other than the basics, because I don't really read a whole lot of Fantastic Four. So they fill you in pretty good here at the very beginning of the book with, a little bit of his background history. And then we flash to Krakoa, naturally, and I'll show you some of that art right there. You see, ooh, look at Kate Pryde. Very interesting. Now, I don't want to say where this falls in, like with Marauders or anything like that, because we all know what's been happening over there. So we're not really going to get into that. But needless to say, we do see, the little ship over there and everything already. So we know it's falling somewhere in there. It kind of reminds me of like Dragon Ball Z and those Dragon Ball Z movies that tie into, the series. Like where they kind of don't fit in, but they do, like they're kind of out of place. Like all things are a little bit different. Like when you're doing a puzzle and you put that piece in the wrong piece because it seems to fit, and you push it in there and it fits until you get close to done with the puzzle and you realize, oh, this wasn't the right piece, and you put it in the right spot. Yeah, anyway, so we flash here to Krakoa, and some of the art in this book, I mean, a lot of the art in this book is really good. It has its ups and downs. There are some points where I really like it, and some points where I kind of don't like it as much. Altogether, not too bad. But we flash here to Kate Pryde, who is arriving there with Storm. They're having a little conversation, and then she gets summoned to see Xavier and Magneto. So she goes there to this little room to have this discussion with them, and they're talking to her about Franklin Richards and and all that stuff, and how he's a mutant and all this stuff. We know, and they're asking because they're wanting to go get Franklin Richards and bring him back to Krakoa because he has this problem where his powers, the more he uses his powers, the weaker they get, because like he doesn't have like his power source or whatnot. He don't have enough power to keep using his powers in the ways that he does, and it's waning. So eventually he could just lose his powers altogether. So they're kind of concerned about that, and they ask Kate Pryde if she could maybe help bring him to Krakoa, so they don't have to force him. A little bit of persuasion, because they have some history here, and that's what they bring up. They talk to her, and of course she go ahead and she's gonna play along. I mean, hey, why not? He's a mutant, right? And it's her friend. And let's not forget, she takes Logan. She gets to take Logan his care package, which kind of really begs the question of when does this happen? And I gotta say, this is some of the art I don't like. Some of this art, Logan stuff right here. I don't know. For me, I just like Logan being drawn really gritty and everything. And so we flash back to we see the Richards family. They're having their own problems. Reed's trying to figure out what's wrong with his son, as well as the mutants. Think they know what's wrong with his son. We get one of these awesome non-white pages here, describing this thing called God Power that Dr. Rachna Cool has been theorizing or talking about, and just she thinks Reed thinks it may have something to do with his son's powers. Now, naturally, his son is a teenager. He's coming of age and everything with his powers, and how things are when you're a teenager, and all imagine all this stuff compounded onto it, and then you're being drugged between being a mutant and being able to go to Krakoa, and being part of the Fantastic Four, and being part of the Reed Richards family. You know what I mean? You gotta so he's sitting there having a talk. He has a little conversation with Ben Grimm, some really cool stuff. And then, of course, what happens is the mutants show up to 4 Yancey Street to try to bring Franklin Richards home. Just for a little while. They're not forcing him. Look at some of this drawing on Logan. Some of that drawing there. I'm not too crazy about that, but it's not bad. It's just, I don't know. Some of it looks a little, I don't know. So they're all there reuniting. Of course, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, they kind of get into it, getting a little squabble, trying to show, arm wrestle with their power. And so they go inside. They have a nice little conversation. Meanwhile, Kate takes Franklin off to the side, and they get together and they have a little good time. They're talking, and they just go ahead and they just float through the city to the middle of what is it, Central Park or whatnot, where they have remember that from House of X issue number 1. Come on, remember that? Remember they showed up there because there's a Krakoan gate near there. And Kate's there with Franklin telling him, hey, nobody's stopping you. I'm not making you go, but hey, you do what you do, I can only lead a horse to water. Go. So they're there, and of course, next thing you know, his parents are flipping out. Everybody shows up. Just everybody shows up because they don't want him to go. The Fantastic Four. They're like, hey, no, stop. You're making him go, and then. Well, it turns out that Franklin, on his own volition, decides to try to go to Krakoa. He tries to go to Krakoa on his own, of his own volition, and lo and behold, he's not able to. He runs right through the portal because his father, that guy right there, has some bad news for him. He did what he could and experimented with his son while he's supposed to be trying to figure out how to fix his son's condition while his powers are waning. But instead, what he did was he went and put something inside of his body to, suppress his mutant genes so then he couldn't pass through the Krakoan gates. Naturally, we know what this kind of what this will cause in any teenager when faced with that kind of situation. Of course, he's grounded and he's put in his room, and mom and dad are upset at each other. Everybody's upset about it. Uncle's upset about it. Your other uncle's upset. Everybody's upset about it because it's just wrong. You know what I mean? You can't really protect your kids from the world. I mean, you gotta expose them a little bit. I mean, you can only protect them so far, right? Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, at this point, there's some really great dialogue in here with Professor Xavier and Magneto, and just some of the characters and how they were trying to get Franklin to come to Krakoa willingly, and well, he ends up. Hey, we got the Marauder involved here. There's some pirating going on here. And then there's this really great reveal here at the very end of the book. I do not want to give away, but I'm telling you, everything that happened in this book, like, you've seen the fireworks kind of go off, and then at the very end, like, you get, the fireworks are going off, and then all of a sudden you're supposed to get the big boom, you're supposed to get the big firework. It goes off here at the end of the book. Let me tell you, it really does. Guys, I like this book. I thought it was pretty good. Chip Zdarsky writing. He's a pretty good writer, I'm telling you. This book I thought was pretty good. Sets up, these next handful of issues pretty good. Where it falls in the timeline, who really knows? The art in this book was pretty good. The coloring was pretty good. Seems like they had a little too many hands on the art and everything for it to be consistent enough. But it is consistent enough, and I thought it was all pretty well done. But I got little nitpicks here and there. But altogether, story's good. Art's good, great book. I think if you're reading the Dawn of X, any of the Dawn of X titles, you'll probably want to at least read this one. I've also said that you'll probably want to read X-Force Marauders and even, God, what was the other one? X-Marauders and X-Force Marauders and X-Men, and probably this one too. I I thought it was pretty good. I can't wait to read issue number 2 that I believe comes out in 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks or 3 weeks? February 26th, it tells us here at the very end of the book. February 26th is when the next one is coming out. But anyway, I don't know. I thought this was a pretty good book. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let's talk about this book. There's so much to cover here. I thought this book was really good. Everything it sets up, everything it's talking about, the conflict, the humans, Fantastic Four, the mutants. I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. But let's talk down in the comments below. That's all I have for this video today, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. You know the drill. While you're at it, though, make sure that you share this video with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Get out and support your local comic book shop. Read some awesome comics like X-Men and Fantastic Four. Let's talk about them, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.